It has become clear to me that the Yankees are not messing around. They entered Saturday in first place of the AL East with a 10-3 record as they took on the first place Guardians in a doubleheader. Game 1 was a bit of a pitching duel until the 6th inning when Oswaldo Cabrera hit a 2-run shot, his third of the year, to give the Yankees a 3-0 lead. The Guardians would score 2 in the 6th off a throwing error by Gleyber Torres, but that's all they would get. Clark Schmidt looked really good for the Yankees, going 5 innings, striking out 7. The second game was also all Yankees. They put up 8 runs through the first 5 innings, highlighted by this 3-run shot by Juan Soto, which was on a 3-0 count. Juan Soto should always get the green light in my opinion, and I'm glad he did. They ended up sweeping the doubleheader, making their record 12-3, and the scary thing about these Yankees is that they're getting contributions from a lot more in that lineup than just Soto and Judge. And despite not having Garrett Cole, they've got many good pitching performances to pave their early season success. Cody Petit looked great in the second game of the doubleheader, going 6 innings, giving up only 1 run, striking out 4. The 1 home run was the former Yankee top prospect Estevan Florial. And going back to their lineup, Judge isn't even hitting yet. His OPS is just under 800, which is not really what Judge does. His OPS is always usually in the 1,000 range. So when he gets going, just watch out. Stanton is also contributing more than most people thought he would. Oswaldo Cabrera has been very good when he's gotten playing time. His OPS is over 1,000. Volpe has been looking great early this season, stealing bags, hitting the cover off the ball, and it's looking really good for the Yankees right now. If Cole comes back healthy and starts to shove, that would be extremely scary for the AL East. And shoving is exactly what Joe Ryan did to the Tigers yesterday. He would only give up 2 runs, only one of them being earned off a bomb by Kerry Carpenter in the first inning, but then the shoving would commence. He struck out a career-high 12 batters in game 1 of the doubleheader, but despite Joe Ryan's masterclass, the game would still go to extras where the Twins would put up 7 in the top of the 12th to win game 1. The Twins would also take game 2, but in a less dramatic fashion by a score of 4-1. They would get homers by Edouard Julien and Willie Castro, and Simeon Woods Richardson would also give up only 2 hits and 1 run, striking out 5. A lot of shoving going on Saturday, and Shota Imanaga knows a thing or two about shoving. He struck out 4 against the Mariners in his start without giving up an earned run. He also has yet to give up an earned run in his entire MLB career, albeit it's a short one so far. Seiya Suzuki keeps on hitting with his 3rd homer of the year. Michael Busch hit his 4th homer of the year. Looks like his AAA mashing is starting to translate to the majors, and the Cubs would go on to defeat the Mariners by a score of 4-1 as well. Emerson Hancock pitched a decent game, but their offense has been so rough to begin the year. As a team, they only have an OPS of 588 entering Sunday, and they really need JP Crawford and Julio Rodriguez to start hitting if they want to have a good year. That is exactly what the Royals and Mets did to each other on Saturday. Sean Manaea has gotten off to a tremendous start of the season, but it looked like the Royals had his number this game. They tagged him for 8 runs, 6 of them being earned, including Salvi's 4th homer of the year. And Kansas City is sure glad to have Salvi starting the year off hot. But the Mets were also hitting the ball. Pete Alonso hit 2 bombs, and Starling Marte also went yard. But that just wouldn't be enough as the Royals just outslugged the Mets 11-7 on this day. I did not have it on my bingo card, but the Royals have been mashing to start this year. Something that was also not on my bingo card was the Astros starting 4-11. But it looks like they are starting to turn things around. They put up 9 on Saturday against their in-state rivals, the Texas Rangers. Ronel Blanco had another quality start, giving up 2 earned runs and striking out 5, while the Astros just mashed as a team. Altuve went 3 for 5. Kyle Tucker's starting to hit. Jordan is crushing like usual. Speaking of crushing, the Brewers have been mashing, and it continued on Saturday when they put up 11 against the Baltimore Orioles. Rhys Hoskins hit his 3rd bomb of the year. Willie Adames went 3 for 5 with a couple RBI. He's been hitting really well. The Orioles may not have won the game, but they sure didn't give former Oriole DL Hall a warm welcome. Now remember, DL Hall was the main piece in the Corbin Burns trade, and I'm not so sure it was a good idea to put him on the mound against his former team, because he gave up 3 bombs in only 3 1/3 innings against his former team. 1 to Ryan Mountcastle, 1 to Jordan Westberg, and 1 to Adley, which was his first of the season. This all happened very early in the game, and it looked like the O's would be doing this all game. But after the Brewers pulled DL Hall, there wasn't any more offense for the Orioles. So basically, just don't put a former Oriole to go against them on the mound. It was a close game before they pulled DL Hall, but Jake Bowers would deliver a 3-run shot off of Dean Kramer in the 4th that would put the Brewers up, and they wouldn't look back. A lot of homers were hit this game, and San Francisco wanted to make it known that they are capable of hitting homers despite not having anyone hit 30 in a season in the last 20 years. Tyro Estrada hit 2 bombs today. Jorge Soler hit his 3rd of the year. Matt Chapman, exit velocity merchant, hit his 3rd of the year, and Lamonte Wade Jr. also went yard. Logan Webb continued doing Logan Webb things by going 7 innings, allowing 1 run and striking out 4. He would go on to get the win as the Giants won 11-2. They are currently in 4th place behind the Arizona Diamondbacks, who took on the St. Louis Cardinals. Ryan Nelson got the ball for the D-backs and had a very solid game. He went 6 innings, striking out 4, only giving up 1 run. It was looking like a pitcher's duel between him and Kyle Gibson until the 6th inning when Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hit a 3-run shot to put the D-backs up 4-1, and that's all the D-backs would need. They ended up winning 4-2, and Lourdes Gurriel is having a very good start to his season. I think the Blue Jays might be missing Lourdes a little bit and his current 936 OPS, but I think they'll get over it pretty quickly if Dalton Varsho keeps hitting bombs like this. This grand slam would put the Blue Jays up 5-0 against against the Rockies, giving Ariel Rodriguez a very nice cushion as he was making his major league debut. He went 3 2/3 innings, striking out 6 and walking 2. His only run given up was a solo shot by Brenton Doyle, and the Jays would go on to win 5-3. Blue Jays hope this is a sign of things to come for their offense. A big year from Varsho would go a long way. And speaking of big years, Chris Sale is trying to have a big year of his own. He's now going to be relied on a bit more heavily since Spencer Strider is out for the year after his UCL procedure. But Sale would struggle against the Marlins on Saturday, giving up a first inning bomb to Josh Bell. He'd give up another run in the next inning off of Vidal Brujan RBI single. And in the 5th, he'd give up a bases clearing double to Brian De La Cruz. Sale would still go on to throw 7 innings, striking out 7, but Max Mayer made sure that the Braves would not get their bats going. He was dealing. He struck out 7 over 6 innings, giving up only 1 run. And this is a fantastic sign for the Marlins. He looks like he could be the real deal and could help this Marlins pitching staff tremendously, especially with how many of their young starters are on the IL right now. And Mayer was not the only young pitcher to deal today. Nick Lodolo and Garrett Crochet faced off in Chicago. Garrett Crochet has been one of the only bright spots for Chicago, but the Reds got the better of him in the 2nd inning. Spencer Steer hit a bases clearing double to make it 5-0, where the scoring would stay. Crochet did strike out 10 though through just 4 2/3, but he was outshined by Nick Lodolo, who was making his first start of the year, and he looked filthy. Lodolo struck out 10 in 5 2/3 innings, giving up only 1 hit and walking 1. I know it's the White Sox who have been awful, but that is still a fantastic sign if you're the Reds and could be huge for this team's rotation. And speaking of lefty starters, Mackenzie Gore could also be huge for his team's rotation. He went 5 innings against the A's, striking out 11 while only walking 1. Yes, it's against the A's, but the A's have been playing a little bit better of late. However, they couldn't get the bats going, and they would take this loss from the Nationals 3-1. This loss would give the A's a 6-9 record, but I'm not sure anyone really had them starting off this good regardless. And I know people didn't have the Pittsburgh Pirates starting off as good as they have started. Having a healthy O'Neal Cruz has certainly helped as he hit a 2-run shot against the Phillies to put them up by 1 in the 5th. The Phillies would have the last laugh though, as they tied it in the 7th, and then Nick Castellanos would come up in the bottom of the 9th, and he would walk this game off. And a Castellanos walk-off can only mean one thing, that somewhere Anthony Rendon is still hitting leadoff for a team. But he has actually been hitting a little bit. He had 2 base hits against the Red Sox on Saturday, but the Red Sox put up 6 in the first 2 innings, and that was enough damage to secure them the win. All jokes aside, Anthony Rendon has been hitting a little bit lately. I mean, he started off 0 for 20 or something like that, but has gradually increased his OPS to 509. But I still don't understand the logic of making him the leadoff guy. He might be the worst leadoff hitter in the league. And if we look across the street, the Los Angeles Dodgers probably had the best leadoff hitter in the game in Mookie Betts, who just keeps on hitting. He went 3 for 5 with 2 RBI against the Padres, but he wasn't the player of the game in my opinion. Gavin Stone was lights out and probably had the best start of his career. He went 6 2/3 innings, striking out 4, giving up only 2 earned runs. The stat line might not jump out to you, but he was actually perfect through 5 innings. And it did come crashing down pretty quickly in the 6th and 7th, but that's a great sign for the Dodgers pitching staff, especially with Bobby Miller being put on the IL. The Dodgers would go on to win this game 5-2. I'm going to need these injuries to stop happening ASAP, or everyone's starting rotation is going to be their AAA starting rotation. Hopefully Bobby Miller's the last injury for a while. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.